Hello everybody, this is Ellis Paul. I'm here in Charlottesville, Virginia. There's a storm a-brewing outside my windows. Excited about tonight. You're listening to Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. We broadcast here every Friday night. We're going to have a little bit of lounge time as people gather and let me know where you're from. I'm going to play a little music here for you to kill some time. This is from the Patreon album. It's called Boys of Summer. All right. Let me know where y'all are from. Say hello. Spread the word. We're going to let people gather here and start in about, 5 or 6 minutes. Got a good show lined up today. We'll tell you about it in about 5 minutes. In the meantime, put on your slippers. Pull up a chair. Have a little bubbly. It looks weird when I'm just pouring this without showing you what I'm pouring in. There we go. I'm not going to drink for a month. That's my new plan. So I've just got refreshments here. No alcohol tonight. Please share this on your Facebook pages, your media. We're going to have Eliza Gilkyson coming on here in a few minutes. Nice to see you guys. Let me know where you're from. There we go. We got Lindsay and Lemonster. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Charles Brabeck is here from Raleigh, North Carolina. And Bob Seifert. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming back out again tonight. Charlene Glenn. Windham again. Thank you so much, Charlene, for all the support over this past year. Lisa Johnson's here with us. Tewksbury in the house. Cheers to you guys. Claudette is here. Claudette's in some foreign country. I want to say Brazil. Damien in Abingdon. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in. Jackie from Pittsburgh is here. And Deb McWethy. Hi. Nice to have you here too, Deb. I owe you an email. Karen's going to be rocking tonight. A little caffeine in the system. Don and Jean are here. They're up in Massachusetts. Charlie Nally from Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, listen, guys, the only way we can get the word out on this show is, of course, if you share it, because Facebook does everything they can to, to keep it from going out where it should be. So please do share it on your Facebook pages. It's going to be a great show tonight. Get the word out. Spread it around amongst your friends. Good to see you too, Carolyn Miller. Brookline is in the house. Eileen Baker and Cindy Tuttle in Scarborough, Maine. All right. Nice to have you here. David King is up in Bath, Maine. And Michael's over there in Indianapolis. David, I'm going to be at the Booth Bay Opera House in June. Keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a great show. Susan Warner's going to be with me and Seth Gleer. Bruiser's over there on the Twitch. Thank you, Charles, for the love and the tip jar. We're going to start in a couple minutes. And we'll tell you about all the fun stuff that's coming up. Grab yourself a beverage. Karen's spreading the love on my PayPal stuff here. We'll be posting Eliza's in here too. You guys can see hers on the Facebook page. Wayne Decker from Cuttabackville, New York. All right, beautiful. We're going to start in a few more minutes, guys. Please share out there in the world. Nice to see you, Karen. And Darla, good to have you in the house. We've got Canada here. And Melissa in the San Francisco Bay Area. The music is fading. That means we are about to start the show. We have this little bit of a intro that I worked so hard on. You're going to love this. Check this out. Hello, everybody. This is Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. We do this every Friday night. We bring in somebody who's a great songwriter, and tonight is one of my favorites, Eliza Gilkyson. She's in New Mexico tonight. She's going to be with us around 8:30. Here's what we're going to be talking about. We've talked a little bit about this between us. It's a pretty broad topic, but it's this. Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show, Friday night, April 30th. That's where we are now. We're calling it Going to the Well. We're going to talk about inspiration and where ideas flow from. We're going to talk about the work of other people that have influenced our songs. And because of that, it's going to be a fun show. I really, truly believe that there's nobody better than Eliza on the American folk circuit. She's sort of the queen of the scene. And I'm so thrilled to have her here. Hey, I'm going to start with a song of my own here. It's called Slingshot, and one of the sources for me for writing songs is the guitar itself, coming up with a riff that is evocative of something, some mood, some vibe, some scene. So I'm going to play this for you, this little guitar riff, and I know a lot of you know it, but I just want you to think in your mind what the riff is telling you. What's this speaking to your imagination with? For me, it was a highway, an open highway, not a highway with traffic. Maybe a convertible and a woman beside you. Is that what you were thinking? It's called Slingshot. Now the fog is up and the moon is rising, laying a blanket of white on the ocean for you. Are you living in the moment now? Two-lane highway in California, beautiful woman beside you, scolding you. Are you living in the moment now? We could build a castle or a cabin on this very spot with a view of the ocean and all the money we don't got. The world could use a hero, 'cause the lunatics are running the shop. I'll be your one-man army. I've got a stone and a slingshot. Oh, a slingshot, yeah. Now where do you go when your faith gets weary? To money, to God, or to chaos theory? I'm asking you, are you living in the moment now? 'Cause we could build a castle or a cabin on this very spot with a view of the ocean and all the money we don't got. The world could use a hero, 'cause the lunatics are running the shop. I'll be your one-man army. I've got a stone and a slingshot. Oh, a slingshot, yeah. You feel beside me. It colors the way I see beauty. We could build a castle spot with a view of the ocean and all the money you don't got. The world could use a hero, 'cause the lunatics are running the shop. I'll be your one-man army. I've got a stone and a slingshot. Oh, slingshot. All right, that was Slingshot. Hey, listen, if you're just joining us now, you're in for a treat tonight. This is Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. We do this every single Friday night. We bring in one of the best songwriters I know, and tonight's a special night because it might be the best songwriter I know. That's how much I love the work of this lady, and I've traveled a little bit with her over the years, and she's just a gem of a person as well. For those of you just tuning in, let me show you what we got going on here. This is it right here. It's Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. Tonight our special guest is Eliza Gilkyson, and tonight we're talking about going to the well, the things that inspire us, where songs come from. Hey, listen, I'm also excited about telling you about this. The Patreon site crossed 1,000 member point last week. I guess this week, really. And this is our 1,000th person. This is Erin. She was our big 1,000th person. She got a little bit of a care package there in the mail. Listeners, so many things coming up, and that you can get from Patreon by joining, like this festival thing you see up there in the corner. We're having a big one-year celebration of this very show on May 23rd, and we got some beautiful people going to join us here. Tom Rush, a legend from the 1960s, Susan Warner, who mixes cabaret and Broadway and folk music and what she does, Vance Gilbert, who's been on the show many times, one of the funniest people around, Adam Mesra, who's a force of nature, Willie Porter, who's an ace on guitar, the queen of the Canadian folk scene, Rose Cousins, coming in, Jonathan Bird, who's an Americana, really pure, beautiful songwriter. Nobody's Girl, a trio from all over the U.S., friends of mine, Heather May, Chris Matthews, Benjamin Dakota Rogers, Laurie McAllister, and I. If you're a member of Patreon, of course, you get massive amounts of discounts on these tickets, but there's the QRC code. If you're interested, just put your phone on that. It'll take you right to the ticket site. If you're a member of Patreon, of course, the tickets are half off or more. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about another thing that I go to the well to, and that's people, heroes of mine. For me, I'm not quite a baby boomer. I was born on the cusp of that, so I'm Generation X. I was born in 1965, but my brother was 6 years older than me, and he was getting all of these singer-songwriter records, Beatles albums, and sharing them with me as I was growing up. So I heard a lot of Elton John. I heard Dan Fogelberg. I heard Queen. Some Beatles records were spun in our place too. So those things were incredibly important to me. But I didn't get into the singer-songwriter thing until I was in my 20s, and that's when I started writing songs myself. And one of my biggest influences is Joni Mitchell. If I was going to count 5 people who hit me the hardest that I feel like are the collection of artists I bring on my desert island, it'll be Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, the Beatles, John Prine. And if you put all of those guys in a blender, you'd get something close to what you're hearing from me. It'd be a mess. That's what it would be. But I'm in a Joni Mitchell tuning right now. This is open G bass C, and it gets a lot of these beautiful overtones. Aren't those sweet? And I call this, I refer to this tuning as open Joni because of it. I'm going to do one of her songs here for you. And you'll hear, if you know my music, you'll hear me in this too. Again, if you're just joining us, please share this on your Facebook page. You're going to love the show tonight. I can't wait to bring Eliza on. She's going to be on around 8:30. Yesterday, a child came out to wonder, caught a dragonfly inside a jar, fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, painted ponies go up and down. We're captured on the carousel of time. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in a circle game. Now the boys moved 10 years through the seasons, skated across 10 clear frozen streams. They tell him, take your time, it won't be long now. Before you, I forgot the words. I was mixing up the verses. Take it to the chorus. And the seasons, they go round and round, painted ponies go up and down. We're captured on the carousel of time. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs, 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turned to car wheels through the town. They tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, before you drag your feet to slow the circle down. Here we go. And the seasons, they go round and round, painted ponies go up and down. We're captured on the carousel of time. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. And the years go by, and soon the boy is 20, and his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true. But there'll be more dreams, better dreams, and plenty, before the last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, painted ponies go up and down. We're captured on the carousel of time. We can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in a circle game. Go round and round and round in a circle game. All right, it's been a while since I've done that. That's Circle Game by the great Joni Mitchell. recorded for the first time by Tom Rush back in the 1960s. Listen, Tom is going to be part of that Traveling Medicine Show Festival that we're doing May 23rd. It's going to be 2 stages, multiple acts. Tom Rush, Susan Warner, Vance Gilbert, Willie Porter, Adam Ezra, Rose Cousins, Nobody's Girl, Jonathan Bird, Chris Matthews. The tickets are $25, but listen, if you're a member of Patreon, you get a huge discount on the tickets. You just got to go up there and sign up. It's only $1 a month, and everybody that signs up gets a free album in the mail this month, in the month of April. I was going to show you the album, but it escapes me, which happens. I want to thank Nancy and Deb McWethy for the love in the tip jar. Thank you guys, Charles Brabeck as well. Thank you guys for keeping the show afloat, taking care of the special guest artists that are coming through. One of the things I love about Joni Mitchell is she helped to teach the world to open up your personal life and talk about your personal experiences because they're universal, even though the language of them and the scenery might be yours alone. It applies when you listen to some of her songs, you're always like, I just feel like I know her, but she's singing about me at the same time. It's one of those crazy things. She opened up that idea of honesty to a different degree, and she did it so beautifully and musically. One of the songs that's most personal in my life is a song called The Innocence and the Afterlife. I'm going to play that for you here. It's about a conversation. When I was putting together my last record, I was trying to come up with ideas based on days out of my life. And I asked myself some big questions like, what was the most beautiful thing you ever saw? What was the moment where you knew you were in love with somebody? Those kind of big questions. Like, what was the most incredible conversation you ever had? What was the day where you recognized that your family's dysfunction was just really fucked up? Things like that. And so one of the songs that came out of this was this notion of what was the most important conversation you feel like you ever had. And for me, that was with my daughter when she was about 5 years old. My father had passed away, and I went up to Maine to say goodbye. And I couldn't bring them. It was too quick. I couldn't bring my family up there. So I just went up and I said goodbye to my father. And I was with him when he passed away. It was a beautiful passing. And when I got home, my daughter met me at the door. And she said, "What happened?" And I said, "Honey, your grandfather passed away." And she said to me, "Where'd he go?" And I looked around for her mom because we were about to have this conversation, and I was raised as a Christian, but I'm a Unitarian now, and I don't want to enforce any specific religion on my kids, but I want to inform them about everything I know about all of them. So I sat my daughter down. I went through what Buddhism was. I went through what Christianity believed, and Judaism, and what Muslims believe, and what agnostics and atheists believe. I went through the whole thing, this entire conversation, and it was absolutely incredibly profound, and she just absorbed everything with only the innocence that a 5-year-old could absorb it. So this is a song about that conversation. I'm going to tell you now, it's not an hour long, but it's called The Innocence and the Afterlife. This is my true life story of karma and coincidence, of the afterlife, of innocence, of a child and my father's ghost. My father slipped into the sweet forever after, surrounded by tears and laughter. He stepped into the great unknown, into the afterlife. Oh, I'm a Now on that long train ride home, I was an orphan in the twilight, praying that by daylight I might speak to my father's ghost. But no one came who shared my name, till my daughter with her 5-year-old eyes, she asked me, where did Papa go when he died? Oh, the innocence. Oh, the mysterious afterlife. I said, honey, some people believe that when you die, you go to heaven, and there are angels there awaiting. There will be family with open arms. Still others believe that we are nothing more than stardust. We are coincidence, and to stardust we return. But the Buddhists believe that you can build a life of good karma, and the afterlife, it won't harm you. You can come back as a living thing, like a bird that sings. Oh, flying into the afterlife. So my daughter says to me, well then, could I come back as a puppy? I said yes, if what the Buddhists say is true. But then her voice changed and the tears came. She said, if I came back as a puppy, would I belong to you? Ah, the innocence, karma and coincidence, the afterlife, the innocence, ooh, the afterlife, the innocence. Yeah, now, if there was no Joni Mitchell there, that song would not have been, it just wouldn't have bubbled up to the surface of the well. It's as simple as that. And then there's people like John Prine with character studies and short storytelling and this simplicity in language. I'm going to do a John Prine song here for you, and then we're going to bring on our special guest. If you're just joining us now, I'm going to let you know one more time what you're watching. This is Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. Our theme tonight is Going to the Well. That's why all these explanations of why I love all these people. Eliza Gilkyson, a 2-time Grammy nominee and the queen of the American folk scene, is with us tonight. Can't wait to talk to her. She's going to be coming up after this next song. After my mother, my old man is another. The child has grown old. If dreams were lightning, thunder desire, This old house would have burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me the one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go. When I was a young girl, I had me a cowboy. He weren't much to look at, just a free rambling man. But that was a long time, and no matter how I tried, all the years they flow by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me the one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go. There's flies in the kitchen, I can hear them buzzing, and I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning, come home in the evening with nothing to say? Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Poster of an old rodeo. Just give me the one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living. It's just a hard way to go. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. That's our hopeful D9 chord right there. Just that little added suspended. Throw a little jazz on John Prine. It's great to see you guys here tonight. For those of you that are just joining us, this is Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. We're here every Friday night. Next week, by the way, coming is a Canadian legend. Mr. James Keelahan is going to be joining us. And the theme next week is going to be how books inspire songs. We're going to be looking at poems, short stories, novels, newspapers, magazines, the written literature, all of it. That's going to be Friday night, May 7th. Next week, a Juno Award-winning songwriter and just a great storyteller. One of my favorite songwriters as well. We're very lucky tonight to have this lady with us. She's been a friend of mine for a long time. We're both Woody heads, Woody files, I guess. Fans of Woody Guthrie. We've played the Woody Guthrie Folk Festival. We even went on tour together in celebration of Woody's music. And she's down in New Mexico right now. Let's bring her in and see what she has to say. This is Miss Eliza Gilkyson.
Hey,
all right, we're in. Isn't it nice when it just goes clickety clack and there you are?
It only took us a year of doing it.
Yeah, just in time for the world to return.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm so glad to see you tonight. Thank you so much. We got a little bit of a crackle on your guitar line, I think.
Yeah, it's an electric guitar. It's running through an amp, so you're always going to hear that little bit of an amp.
All right,
sound.
just want to let you know.
Yeah, I know it.
let me hear you strum it just in case to make sure there's no. Okay, that's great. That makes the crackle go away. So where are you right now?
I'm upstairs in our adobe hacienda here in Taos, New Mexico.
Do you ever bump into Don Conoscenti out on the street, like occasionally?
Not on the street, but he's got a job where we run into him every once in a while. So
yeah,
and it's great to see him. Yeah, great guy. Great musician.
Yeah. He's been on the show a few times. Now you and I we have like a mutual love of Woody Guthrie in common. Mm-hmm. What is it about his music that has impacted you and changed how you write and think and?
Well, he was much more loose. I'm really a regimented songwriter. My dad was much more of an influence on me than Woody. In a lot of ways, Woody was like just the challenge to me to not live so strictly within certain boundaries of songwriting and he just really didn't care. I think he was like a very unedited person and so. That I just have great admiration for anybody who can just draw outside the lines like that. And but I can't. I have to say that really, I'm a very structured songwriter. So I love being tricked out of it, but out of being regimented. But I am really. My dad was the same way. We just really wrote in a form. So I just love that about Woody. He was so freewheeling.
Yeah, he's unbridled, and the wordplay is so incredible. But the charm there's something about it that I don't know. It's intoxicating in a way for me to listen. But when I'm hearing you, I don't hear careful. I don't hear the editing. I hear conversational lyrics that are really poetic, but I don't hear you writing. Which is an incredible thing.
Thank you for saying that. I think I come out of the old school poetry and songwriting too, where so there is some structure there, but within that, you really want things to flow and be very lyrical and very musical, and so I think of myself as being more of a musical writer. I'm coming from the point of view of grooves and melodies before I actually do lyrics. So I guess I'm just, and which would be very different than Woody, who I think was really just writing things down all the time, than just sticking them to any kind of music. He didn't care. He wasn't really thinking, I'm going to stick this chord here. I'm going to put a bridge in. He did not think that way,
Right.
He was a stream of consciousness, and that's got an authenticity to it that you cannot fake. It's not like, okay, now I'm going to try to be like, I'm going to try to be Woody Guthrie. I don't think you can do it. I think it's got to be built into how you are as a person.
Yeah, and I think there's something though about I see you telling truth in the same way that he does. It's a little bit on the like I said, unbridled side with him, but chronicling important things that other people can't put into words. So to me, it's you're in the same tribe. You know what I mean? Even though your writing might be. I mean, I know the Rolling Stones write more rhythmically, and blues people do, and that doesn't surprise me based on how you sing and how you construct melodies. That would be how you do it, because the impact of your melodies are really heavy with me. I love what you do, really.
Thank you so much. It's mutual.
There's nobody who does it better than you, Eliza. And
gosh. Thank you so much.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it's
kind.
It's true.
Really nice.
It's true.
And
generous. Hey, tell me about a little bit about your dad. I know your brother was in a couple landmark bands like X, and
Lone Justice, yeah.
And Lone Justice, right. Yeah. That was the other. But your dad wrote for Disney and Bare Necessities, right? Isn't that one of the songs that...
He did. He wrote the Bare... And he also, before he was writing for Disney, though, he was writing folk songs. And he came up... He actually... What was the name? The artist in New Mexico, southern New Mexico, Peter Hurd. Remember Peter Hurd? He did the LBJ portrait. He was a Western artist.
Okay, yeah,
Very Western artist.
I see, yeah.
But my dad, my family, they were painters and were friends with a lot of the East Coast painters, and so my dad went out to Peter Hurd's ranch in New Mexico when he was 18 years old, which had to be, he was born in 17, so add 18 to that. So
right,
whatever that is, 35. So he went out to Peter Hurd's ranch there in southern New Mexico, and he stayed in the bunkhouse with where the cowboys were, and they taught him to play guitar, and he learned his first chords there, and so his first introduction really was through Western music, and then he went right into folk music from there. He became a kind of a John Lomax fan, and he really studied that stuff. And then he started writing his own. He had an Armed Forces radio show in the early 50s called The Solitary Singer, which is based on a song my grandmother wrote that he put to music. And so he started out early just really finding his way through folk music. And then he joined the Weavers, Pete Seeger and the Weavers in the early 50s. And they had a hit song with my dad singing on top of Old Smoky.
Really? Yeah. Oh, that's his voice. I had no idea.
And that was very operatic, on top of Old Smoky. It's really operatic.
It's like Ethel Merman does, folk music. Yeah, but that's, that's just. I had no idea that the river, the DNA that you have, goes all the way back to your grandmother.
Yeah, she was a terrific writer. I mean, I've got books of her poetry, and I've put a couple of records ago. I put 2 of her pieces on there because she really wrote some interesting stuff. Really facing mortality and big questions, and so I've put several of her things to music. I think they really stand up.
That's amazing. Hey, I'm going to let
one of them. Actually, I could.
Hey, that'd be great. I'm going to give you a couple songs here, and we'll come back. I want everybody to hear you. This is Eliza Gilkyson. She's in New Mexico. Guys, enjoy her. We'll see you in a couple of songs.
Well, I guess I'll start with this. I don't have the right guitar for my grandmother's song, but I think I'll do this one. This is one that because we were talking about other sources influencing us as writers, and this is one, and I think other people have. As a matter of fact, Ellis, with your Stone and Slingshot, it's a complete reference to the Bible, and this song was actually just taken right out of the Old Testament, out of the Song of Solomon. And I had been, I was on the road somewhere, and I had fallen in love with a guy, and I had this melody, but I had these lyrics, but I didn't have a melody for it, and it wasn't working. It just wasn't working. And finally, I thought, well, I'm just going to go to the Old Testament here in the hotel room, and I pulled out the Bible, and I kind of flipped it open, just kind of trying to find stuff, and I couldn't find anything. But finally, I've opened it to the Song of Solomon, which is a beautiful, beautiful love poetry. I'm a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valley. And it's really just very, very passionate, I think very romantic poetry there in the Bible. And different religious scholars have said that it was really supposed to be reference to God's love, but I mean, I think I like to think that it just came out through the ages as 2 young people just really passionately adoring each other. But I started with the opening line. This is often a way into taking something from another source, from an old source like that, a public domain source like the Bible, finding that opening line, that beautiful opening line, and then just letting the song influence you in a way, letting the lyrics from the original version influence you and carry you away into your own little movie, and that's what I did with this song. It's called "The Rose of Sharon," and this was also recorded to my great joy and amazement by Joan Baez on a couple of records ago. I am a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valley, as a lily grown among the thorns. Love in this world has found me as an apple tree among the trees that grow deep in the forest. My lover's form is comely with life and limb most joyous. Rise up, my love, and come away. The rain is over and gone. Your love is the fruit of my darkest day, and I am your rose of Sharon. His gentle hand lies under my head, his shoulders turn to face me. I shall not stir him from my bed while he doth so embrace me. Oh, bring me wine to pass the time, though none but him can soothe me. I am my beloved's and he is mine. Desire for his pleasure moves me. Rise up, my love, and come away. The rain is over and gone. Your love is the fruit of my darkest day, and I am your rose of Sharon. Oh, I am your rose of Sharon. So let me think. What was the other one I was going to do? Yeah, I thought I'd do this one. This is speaking about something coming up from the family. When we first went to war with Iraq, and right at that time, we were traveling with the Woody Guthrie show. Right about that same time, that's when Ellis and I really got to do some hanging out together. But because I was making a very political record, I remember that I had this great eighth generation grandfather who fought in the American Revolution and who was actually at Valley Forge and who started out as a private and worked his way up to a brigadier general in George Washington's army. And somewhere in our family archives we have letters from Washington to him telling him where to move troops and move supplies and that kind of thing. But so when we were going to war with Iraq, I wanted to do some research on this patriot grandfather and see, if there was any information on that, so I could tell kind of a story song. So when I did the Google search, up came this book that was a collection of his letters, his actual letters back to his father, my great grandfather. And so they were all bound together in one single volume called the Huntington Papers, and the letters they were for sale as a book, and so like an auction. So I bid kind of high, and I won. And I probably didn't bid against too many people, but for me it was a real treasure. And these letters, there were hundreds and hundreds of letters dating from the 1760s all up through the American Revolution up to the 1780s. And just very intimate letters, but also the very formal way they had of speaking to each other. But so I found wonderful, wonderful full lines from there that I could take from all these 20 years of letters and compile them. I set them up in the winter of 1777 when they were all out in Valley Forge, the terrible winter. And I took lines, whole I set him up, and then he just had his way. I was just able to pluck long lines that somehow there was a cadence to the way he spoke. And once I found the groove, that's when Ellis and I were talking about finding that groove. And in this song, I really had to find that cadence first before the rest of the song would come. This is called Jedediah 1777. Jedediah out in the snow, walking the frozen trench lines, wet boots and his wool coat coming apart at the seams. Rations of hard-baked dough, handfuls of melting snow. What else can a man live on but his dreams? Not 20 miles away, in the mansions of Philadelphia, Loyalists laying their money down on the king. We've provision enough for the day, but if victory were just for the wealthy, our noble cause wouldn't be worth the hardship we're suffering. Send the cloth for a good waistcoat. I dream of your hearth and the fields of oat. I wake to the drum and the trembling note of the fifer. May it please God in his great mercy to shelter our friends and our family. I remain your son most faithfully, Jedediah. I have seen a man who has heard the king tell of his intention our independence to declare. The peace will undoubtedly bring a great revolution in commerce. May it be our rightful fortune to come in for a share. My regards to a certain Miss Moore. I've stated my honorable intentions for her, that upon my return from this necessary war, she'd be my wife. May it please God in his great mercy to restore the joys of domesticity. Salutations to the family, Jedediah. Rejoice that the cause we're engaged in is in the hands of an almighty sovereign, who I doubt not is accomplishing the ends of his desire. My love to you and the fair Miss Moore, spare me a bottle from the cellar store. In my name let the contents pour, Jedediah.
Wow. That must have been an incredible moment to be reading that kind of language and knowing that it was someone in your DNA stream again. That's pretty spectacular. Yeah. What a writer.
Yes, he was like that line, I rejoice that the cause we're engaged in is in the hands of an almighty sovereign, who I doubt not is accomplishing the ends of his desire. I mean, that whole line, it was amazing to be able to take that long of a line out of the letters. But the stuff was in there.
It's like Shakespeare.
I mean. It was amazing. That's a fun thing, I think, that when you're sitting around trying to come up with song ideas, and to just even look into your family history, there's stuff in there, there's stories in there, there are letters, there are, family members last living members who remember specific details, because you want those details when you're writing, a story. You want those images and details so that you can trigger other people's imagination. And so this one was just full of images, and it was a real treasure trove.
And your son is a musician as well, right? He's a producer, drummer. and travels with you. And
yeah, Cisco. Well, he once he had kids, he couldn't travel with me the way he used to. But I mean, Cisco and I did tours together where he just played drums and I played guitar and sang. That was when he was still a teenager, and he had this little rig that he'd made out of his cajon with a backwards kick pedal, and it was very cool. But we have a lot of miles on the tires. But turning production over to him was a real rite of passage as a parent. It's like you're the one who's supposed to know everything, and then there's a certain point where they actually, they know so more than you do, and they have better ideas and stuff. And that was a really cool transition, and I didn't just turn it over to him. He won every bit of power and creative control from me. He won it by the better argument, the better idea. So he one of my Grammy records was the first one he produced for me.
That's amazing. Yeah. Those records, they sound great, really.
Yeah, they do sound great. He's got a great ears.
Did you take him out to the Grammys? Did you go for the ceremony?
Yes, we went, and we went together.
Nice.
It was really fun. His wife went with us,
and
we had some big laughs because it was redneck rock. It was their big tribute to redneck rock, which is like my least favorite kind of rock and roll. It was like Leonard Skinner and Dickie Betts and stuff. It's not my favorite kind of rock and roll. So it was a lot of twin lead stuff, and it was. But we laughed. They handed out. They had all this swag, and we all wore our swag, and it was. But we were in like the nosebleed seats, way up at the top of the thing. They were like little dots down in the arena.
Oh man, yeah! But what a thrill to have your kid there to experience a shared artistic moment, and I would
great,
just.
Yeah.
You must have been so proud and happy, and
I couldn't have had a better date.
Yeah, and it's been a tough year for musicians like you and I, and we had to reinvent ourselves online. And how did it go for you? How are you doing now that things are starting to come back?
I just think my life has changed completely. For one thing, because Texas was dealing with COVID so badly. There was a certain point where my husband and I just were like, because we had this house in New Mexico that I've been keeping on Airbnb for years, because otherwise I couldn't afford to keep it. But it was always kind of like in my back pocket, I was like, this place is really amazing. And I used to live in Taos, so I just wanted to have, some kind of little getaway here. But we just came up here and it was like, oh my God, this is incredible living here. I mean, every day is so precious and beautiful. And plus we have a blue governor here, and we had she had real mask social distancing policies that were really sensible. And so it was, when we moved up here, they only had 50 cases or 30 cases of COVID in Taos. And it stayed that way all summer. So it was like, it was a gift, and we were very, very grateful for it. And our kids came and stayed with us, and had to stay separate, but it was great to have them up here. And so after a while, it was sort of like, why don't we just live here? It's like the winter is beautiful. Everything about it is beautiful, and it's hard to leave Austin because I have so many friends there in the music scene. But I'm finding that I'm slowing down. Traveling has been really hard the last few years as I get older, and so this online, the virtual stuff is really interesting and exciting and challenging and rewarding. And so I'm finding that I think I can dial back what I do on the road and do more of this. And with this format, we're reaching people that we've never been able to play in they live in remote places where we don't tour, and it's pretty great. And Europe, which I had to stop because I'm having trouble with long distance flights. And so now I'm able to do a show in Europe, online, and it's great, hook up with people again. So I'm slowing down. I'm making a new record though. I've made more records in the last 5 years than I have in and I have 22 records out. So
that's amazing.
I'm making another one now with my friend Don Richmond up in Alamosa, and it's
a
Western record. He's a great producer. We're having so much fun, and the Rifters are singing on the record.
Oh, nice.
It's beautiful, beautiful work, and it's super Western. It's all about the Southwest, and it's not political. And that's the first time in maybe 11, 12, 15 years that I haven't done a political record because I've been so worried about everything. I just constantly doing politics.
Well, hey, maybe it'll win temporarily some new fans.
Temporarily till I go back to politics again, right?
Yeah.
Next election.
They'll come and go.
It's been such
it happens
a
in cycles.
Yes, it does, and it has been a real relief to actually feel like we have a real adult in charge right now, and I'm so it is a perfect time for me to kind of indulge myself in some other types of songs.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm glad you're slowing down because I know you work hard. You're one of those folks, and it's nice to see you take good care of yourself. Let me leave you for a couple of songs, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. This is Eliza Gilkyson, y'all.
Hang on a second. I'm going to turn my heater off. I had the heater on, and it was like, okay, I'm hot now. Granny's tin shed is now up to 105. It's got a little amp buzz, but it does sound good anyway. All right, I think I'm going to do, since I was talking about the new record, I think I'll do a couple of the songs from the new record, and there's a lot of songs I've written for it, but this is one that was a rewrite of an old folk song that actually is so old it's an Irish ballad that has been handed down through the years. But this is a song that my dad's band, the Easy Riders, recorded and put on one of their records in the 50s. And I've always loved this song. It's a beautiful, beautiful song, and with a gorgeous chorus. And my dad's band, they had these beautiful 3-part harmonies. And so we recorded this one with some new lyrics and had the Rifters sing on it. It's just, I had to change it though, because a lot of these old folk songs, which I love, are written from a man's point of view. So I thought it would be fun to do this a little bit more from a woman's perspective, because women like to wander too. This is called Wanderin'. My daddy was a song man, my mother broke his heart, and the road was always calling me from the very start. Now it looks like I'm never gonna cease my wandering. Oh, I have been a wanderer. I roam from town to town, singing for my supper with no thoughts of settling down. And it looks like I'm never gonna cease my wandering. I had a guitar man in Austin, friend in Santa Fe, and a cowboy up in Jackson who tempted me to stay. But it looks like I'm never gonna cease my wandering. From the Brazos to the Badlands, on the Rio Grande I've roamed, going where the road winds, searching for my home. But I'm always a wanderer, never a home, with all my days behind me and a heart that's bound to roam. And it looks like I'm never gonna cease my wandering. Yeah, it looks like I'm never gonna cease my wandering. It had this line in it. I got a brunette up in Dallas, a and a blonde in Santa Fe and a redhead up in, Jackson, you make a fool out of me. I just thought, well, those are guy lyrics, so I'm changing around a little bit. And that's a fun thing to do with, we were talking about going to the well. So there's some really wonderful old songs out there that have some really key wonderful things about them, and that was one of the things I did on this record is I took several of these old Western songs like Wanderin' and just changed them up a little bit, and I thought I'd close with the ones that you have to, in order to, if you're going to take an old song like that and rewrite it, you got to come at it with an attitude of so much love and respect for the original, because you can't just go in there and slice and dice it. You kind of honor and really, really enhance what's wonderful about the original. So this is one of those. I'll close out with this one. You'll recognize this one. Pulled out a shy and was steaming my kettle and my dancing shoes. Pedal to the metal, gotta get to Washakie before the sun settles. So I dance by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals and pony boys get to congregating down in Old Du Bois. Cowboys coming out to make some noise at the Wind River Rendezvous. I danced with a guy with a hole in his sock, and his heels kept rocking, knees kept knocking. Tomorrow morning better do some talking, 'cause we dance by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? I danced with a guy whose spurs were jingling and the sparks were flying, elbows flinging. Tomorrow morning his head'll still be ringing, 'cause we dance by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? And dance by the light of the moon. And dance by the light of the moon.
Oh, that was great. Really super. Did you, I don't know the lyrics to that song. Did you do a lot of rewriting on the elbows flinging and the
That's all
head
new,
was
yeah. But I
so
have this
good,
experience
so good.
with, I have, this whole record is about a whole alter life that I have lived, and all the songs that came from a different time period in my life that I have been saving as one body of work, and because I had a history of romantic relationships and a lot of traveling through the West, and so this is really just my love letter to the West. And so songs like this, I grew up with them, and because my dad came out of this kind of Western thing, and folk marrying Western music, so all these songs are very familiar to me. But so I'm really very aware of square dance. I did a lot of square dancing, and I've dated a lot of cowboys, and I've really done the circuit from Wyoming down to Texas. So, and I've played a lot of roadhouses, and so the idea of the cowboy with his sparks were flying and the elbows flinging, that's how they dance.
So great. The image was so beautifully done. Really exquisite.
Thank you.
It reminds me a little bit, the first time I saw you was in Massachusetts, probably 91, 92. You were at a little tiny club. Barnes Newberry ran it. God, I can't remember.
Yeah, Barnes had that club that was a little south of Boston.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you were all like cowgirl. I remember flowing dress and cowboy boots. And
that's right. That was
gorgeous.
The end of an era.
Yeah, I think I caught the last wave of the cowboy version of you. And
you did. And it's been like sitting dormant. And something about coming back to Taos is like, it was like this person was waiting for me, all the songs and everything, and this whole, and also just falling in love with the Southwest again. I mean, just like really deeply falling in love with it, which I was in those days. I really was into it, and when I moved down to Austin, and then I started to get, I had a lot of bad breakups, and I really and some hard times in Babylon, and and then I started to really get more political because I was just so worried about everything, and I felt like somebody needed to be writing political music. So, but then this cowgirl's kind of been back in there all this time.
yeah, it's so great to hear that song. "Wandering" it's like an instant classic.
Do you know the old
beautiful
version? Do you remember the old version?
I don't think so. But your delivery on it is so understated and just gentle on the ears, and that's gonna be a nice song on this record.
Thank you. The original, the opening lyric, the Irish version is, my daddy was an engineer, my brother drove a hack, my sister takes in laundry, and the baby balls the jack, and it looks like I'm never gonna cease my wandering. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, listen, thanks for stopping by the show. I'm so lucky to have you here tonight. Really, it's an honor, and I love your entire catalog. Truly love the tone of your voice and your delivery. And
same with you, Ellis. It's so good to hear you sing tonight. And man, your guitar sounds like $1,000,000.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you.
Great sound on that thing. Have you got a little compression on that thing?
Probably just a touch.
Really nice. It really pops.
Well, thank you. And I'll circle back after the night's over and just check in with you.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's Eliza Gilkyson, y'all, and a true legend. And, she's been at it for a long, long time, and I don't blame her. I think the pandemic is teaching us all that being in the rat race of live performance is detrimental to our health and our happiness, really. So I think you're going to find that a lot of musicians like me will be still touring, but there'll be a combination of online content and road content. It's, we're no longer just touring songwriters. We are content providers, and we're going to be teaching and talking and sharing stories like this. And isn't it a beautiful thing? This is what would Woody Guthrie have done with all this access to you people. So it's going to be an exciting new world once we come out of this, and hopefully you guys will be there for the ride. Hey, before I go on, thank you for taking care of Eliza. This is her Venmo, Eliza Gilkyson, and the PayPal is Eliza Gilkyson Music. Give her some love tonight, guys. She deserves it. First of all, you'll feel good about it as well. I'm just going to take this down though, and thank you, Eliza, again for coming on the show tonight. It was so great to hear you. Before I do another song, I want to remind you guys again that the big festival is coming Sunday, May 23rd. And I'm going to put up the brand again for this. If you want to come to the show, you just put your camera on that QRC code. Tom Rush is going to join us. 2 stages, one for interviews, one for live performance. Susan Warner, Vance Gilbert, Adam Ezra, Willie Porter, all of these guys. Every generation of American songwriters is there. And the people from Canada, people from the U.S., it's going to be a great time, and we're celebrating this show that's been here during the pandemic, keeping me alive in many ways, and giving me something to do in an important way. I think it'd be actually going out of my mind if I didn't have it. So thank you guys for all the love and support during the year. I'm going to get back to our discussion about people like Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan. Obviously, those guys, Dylan was such a wordsmith. He was almost like messing with us with images, and you had to have an abacus and a straight edge in order to figure out what's his intention and meaning here at times. And as Eliza said, there's a certain unbridledness to the way that Woody Guthrie wrote. But one thing I liked about both of those guys, when they were writing political songs, they weren't telling you how to think. They were telling you what happened in a way, and that affected my writing in a great way. I'm going to do one of the songs I feel like came out of the Woody, early Dylan influences, and it's about my hometown, Charlottesville, Virginia. Here, if I can call it my hometown. That's the first time I think I've ever said that out loud. I've lived here now. God, I think I've probably lived in Virginia now for a longer stretch than I ever lived in Maine, which is strange to think about. This song is about a statue that was in town. You folks know the story about the KKK rally and the alt-right rally that happened here in town, and people died, and this is a song about it. General Robert E. Lee is sitting on a stallion right in front of me. Town says they're gonna take the old statue down. So white supremacists come sneaking through the streets like something out of Genesis. I can't believe my eyes, 'cause neither side is gonna back down. When the war you're fighting for is born out of something disgraceful, you ain't fighting honorably, generally. Friday night out on parade with the tiki torches. The townspeople left their porches to block the way, and you can hear the hate in the words they shout. The cameras took the picture for the torch blew out. You should have warned the hood, you're up to no good. Tomorrow's judgment day, when the war you're fighting for is born out of something disgraceful. You ain't fighting honorably, generally. Saturday the protest was canceled. A helicopter crashed, it got too hot to handle. 2 cops died, and skirmishes broke round town. 3 lives blown out like candles. A president who loves a scandal. He wouldn't take a side, though people died and Heather Heyer got mowed down. When the war you're fighting for is born out of something disgraceful, you ain't fighting honorably, generally. For 150 years we've come so far, but you haven't moved an inch. We will not flinch. There's no one here to lend. When the war you're fighting for is born out of something disgraceful, you ain't fighting honorably, generally. 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 All right, that's the Battle of Charlottesville. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. I'm going to do one more song and then check on out. Don't forget, Sunday night is going to be the Patreon All Request Night. That's a special show for Patreon members. Again, if you want to join Patreon, you get discounts on everything. You get an archive of this show, you get an archive of the Sunday night show, and much, much more. Everybody that signs up tonight is going to get a CD in the mail of... Here, let me grab it. I see it now. I got it. There it is. There we go. Of Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. It's some of the songs that I did during the course of the year here. Angel from Montgomery, Over the Rainbow, Cats in the Cradle, the whole shebang. those old songs, you have to respect the writing. I think one reason why Paul McCartney was so great is that his father was in a band and played music in the home as McCartney was growing up. So he was hearing all of these, songs from the 20s and 30s and 40s. And that kind of songwriting is just absolutely incredible. Maybe I'll do this one. I'll do a couple more songs here. This song, for example, I've done a few times. It's on the new album, the new Patreon album, The Traveling Medicine Show. Again, you sign up, you'll get that in the mail. Tonight's the last night, though. The special ends at midnight. You must sign up between now and midnight. But we will send this to you in the mail. This was ranked the #1 song of the 20th century by the Radio Industry Academy of America. The #3 song was Woody Guthrie, our favorite hobo. One of his. It was This Land Is Your Land. The #2 song was White Christmas by Irving Berlin. And then this was the #1 song of the 20th century, according to that poll, Over the Rainbow. Way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue. Dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles smell like lemon drops way above the chimney top. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles smell like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? That's Over the Rainbow, my friends. Thanks again for joining us here. Thanks for all the support here and on Patreon. Next week, I want to remind you all, another legend of the North American folk circuit's coming in, Mr. James Keelahand, Juno Award winner up in Canada. We're going to be talking about the influence of books. Obviously, Eliza did a song inspired by Bible verses and letters from relatives, and we're going to look at how literature influences songs with one of the best at the craft, Mr. James Keelahand. It's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't done this song in a few cycles of the show, but this is basically the theme song by my friend David Glaser. I wonder where you are tonight. I wonder if you're driving on a winding concrete river in a raft of glass and steel. The darkness interrupted by a lonely bright oasis, a full tank and a coffee and your bag behind the wheel. Long is the road that lies between us, and many are the days since you've been gone. May the angel on your shoulder guide you safely through the night, and may the concrete river bring you home. May the concrete river bring you home. Hey, I wonder where you are tonight. I wonder if you're happy. I say my little prayer and send it out across the miles. And I hope you're in some special place with people there that love you. And I hope you make it back to them before too long a while. Long is the road that lies between us, and many are the days since you've been gone. May the angel on your shoulder guide you safely through the night, and may the concrete river bring you home. May the concrete river bring you What a nice night sitting with old friends, hearing great music, great songs, getting to chat about life. One of the things about this pandemic is it's just kind of taken a lot of human contact away. I'm double dosed and clean to go, and May 1st, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow I am good to hug complete strangers, and I might just try and get myself arrested. I'll go down on the mall in Charlottesville and just creep people out by just hugging strangers. Why the hell not? So happy to have you guys here. I'm going to put on a little music and just sit with you as we say goodnight. Let me see. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Cats in the Cradle. Why don't we do that? This is another song from the Patreon album, which you can get by signing up tonight. Thank you, Ben D here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Robbie Gilmore, thanks so much.
Just the other day, he came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch.
Karen, we'll put that up on the site. We'll deal with that over the weekend, okay? It's not until June. Just got a show on July 4th up in Laconia, New Hampshire at the Opera House. Kids show and adult show, so come and see me there. Also the Booth Bay Opera House up in Booth Bay Harbor, Maine. A few shows are starting to pop up. The Woody Guthrie Folk Festival, hopefully soon. Regina Hull, thank you for that. So glad you got a ticket to the festival. That's going to be fun. The Traveling Medicine Show Festival, May 23rd, y'all. Thank you, Gail. Gail, I'm going to put your art on the table next. That's the next one that's coming up. So you're in the queue, okay? I should show you what I'm working on, guys. These are the resolutions that I put out on New Year's. And it's the same artwork that I use for the festival, but this is the original. And we're going to make this into a poster, so that'll be something to buy on the website eventually. Thanks, David. Thanks for coming out tonight. Gail Harvey, thank you so much. Miss you too. We'll see you guys soon. Lots of love in the tip jar tonight. Sandra Dunn, thank you. Frank Grillo, Dennis McCracken, Charlene, Paul Nelson, Wayne Decker, David King, Deb McWethy, thank you all for the love and the support. Dan's going to be here in May as well. Dan Navarro, he's going to stop by the house, so you might see him in person. We might do a little live streaming. Michael, thank you so much for that. All right, Steve, thanks so much. I think you'll like the show. Eliza was great. Isn't she a sweetheart? And that voice, yeah, it just, it feels regionally like she is exactly where she comes from. As long as I'm retired, my son's moved away. Thank you, Lenny. Glad you guys could tune in. I said I'd like to see you if you don't mind. Next time, Shelley. Don't forget on Sunday the All Request Show on Patreon. Martha, thank you for the love in the tip jar. And Sandra, thank you as well. My boy was just like me. Yeah, she's great, huh? Craig Ossie, thank you so much, brother. We'll see you on Sunday night, all right? I had a weird night last night. I was up at 4:30 and could not fall back asleep, so I'm going to be looking forward to laying back tonight and just crashing hard. Good night, y'all. Thank you so much again for all the love, and we'll see you next week with James Keelahan. Cheers.